Hey everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. Right, the video today, a different start here, because I just want to do a little bit of an introduction, because this video I was actually planning, well, I never thought about making a separate video just for this, so I was incorporating everything on the same video, but then I thought to myself, if anyone is looking just for this particular part, am I going to struggle to find it? So I just thought I'll do a separate video. You will understand all about it in a second. So today we are carry on working on this 2013 or 10? No, 2010. Sorry, 2010 Range Rover Vogue, the overfinch trim model. And as you can see, well, if you have watched the other video, you know exactly what we're doing. Title and thumbnail of this one will show you exactly what we are doing. So we are repairing, well, we are trying to find the problem with the EPB on this car, electronic parking brake, and I found the issues, I found everything what's wrong with it, and the decision of the owner of this car was to go the cheapest route, which, to be fair with you, I'm not going to say it's a bad call, because I think even that it will repair this quite well, and I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to do. So just bear in mind, guys, when I was starting to record this, I was not planning to make a separate video, so it's going to be probably just me opening the module, showing you, doing testing and find out what's wrong. I have some of the parts are ready to repair the module. I'm literally waiting today for the rest to be delivered, so hopefully I can finish it off. That's when you're going to see the next clip recorded from today. The clips you're going to see, they were recorded a few days ago when I took the module out of the car and I put it on the bench. So that's where we're going to go from now. Where we're going to carry on from is with the module on the bench. So off you go. And here it is, guys, and this is exactly how it sits on the car, facing backwards and everything. So this is exactly, so imagine that's the front of the car. This is exactly how it sits on the car, with the cable and the emergency that I forgot to disconnect, and the other cable over here. So it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 T something screws. We're going to remove them and see if we can figure out what's wrong with this inside. Okay, and all the screws are out, and I think I'm ready to try no, this is definitely glued. This is not just the screws. This is not just the screws. Okay, this is actually very clean. Obviously the emergency release is done, because as I pull this, you released, but I don't know if that was the case. Yeah, that's engaged again. Okay. Okay. So let's disconnect this motor internally, just like so. Okay, so disconnect the two cables that goes to the motor. Now we're going to try to put 12 volts into that and see what it does. Just want to see if these runs or not. Nope. Nope, not at all. The opposite way. I think. Yeah, oh no, sorry. My bad. My bad. Sorry guys, I had the power supply disconnected. Let's try this again. It's actually working. So, if it is working, what the heck's going on here? What the heck's going on here? This is definitely broken here as well anyway, but let me release these again. Emergency release. So, overheating. This was not even at one of the ends. It was like sort of in between, so why? Really strange. Let me take this off and check this. Okay, and once we take this off, we undo. Wait, we undo this from this end. Okay, and now we should be able to take these off. There's 3 screws holding this. Still have the emergency release, which is where is there. This comes off. There we go. Why is this reporting overheating? Let's see if there's anything. Jeez, this is bad. This screw is completely gone. Not sure how I'm going to take these off, but oh well. Oh, it came off. Oh, putting grease everywhere. So is that going to be a sensor here? Oh, I don't know. What's down there? Why I see something black. It might be just my eyes. Okay. Gonna check this gearbox. This little gearbox here. See what we have inside here. I'm gonna bear with you. There's gonna be some plastic gears inside. Indeed they are, but to be fair with you, they don't look too bad. Nothing looks like stripped. Yeah, they look all good. They are not stripped, they are not worn. Really, they are really in good shape. Gonna look at that one. Again, really in good shape. This one has a bearing on it, but when you look inside, not a single teeth. Not a single teeth is damaged or anything like it. So I really don't understand why was this thing not even trying to activate? It makes no sense whatsoever. Plenty of grease in here. I was to put a little bit more, but to be fair with you, this has plenty of grease. So I'll just put it, make sure it goes into the cogs, etc. But yeah, you don't need more grease in this. Right guys, I'm not really sure how we're going to proceed with this because, as I said, everything looks actually quite good. So I really don't understand what's going on with this at this moment. So we'll have to maybe, not really sure what I'm going to do next. Not today obviously, but I think what I'm going to try to do is probably try to plug this in, just the PCB and this motor, and try to see what the motor does. I'm not sure where the sensor is. I think So this is going to be the torque sensor here. This sensor here comes for this cable. There's three connections. So I think this is going to be the torque sensor. That's going to measure the torque on the cable. Yeah, it's going to be that. So yeah, bear with me. I will think about something. Okay guys, problem found. You can imagine already what it is. So the reason why I found the problem was because I put the gearbox in there and I tried to run the motor just like this. And while if you just touch the motor quickly, you would run, you've seen it running there. But after a few seconds, the motor started to go into effort, like it was really under stress. And I thought, that's weird, because the only thing connected is the gearbox. So I thought, something that doesn't sound right. So I got the gearbox out again, and now I'm going to show you. So this is my clamp meter. Can you see the clamp meter reading? Let me see if I can put the phone. The phone is charging, and I can't really give you a much better view, I'm afraid. See if I can do it like this, maybe. Can you see the screen? Yes, you can. So you can see, guys, this is on a 100 amps scale, okay? So from 0 to 100 amps. At the moment we have 0.4. Let me try to zero that again. Okay, so 0 amps. Now watch, guys, what happens when I connect the motor just like this. Okay, so there's nothing connected here. The motor should run completely freely, should pull pretty much nothing. Look how many amps that pulls. 24 amps, 25. That gets really hot. The wires start to get really hot. Ouch. 25 amps, guys. Just by running the motor like this. The fuse for this is fuse number 6 on the rear fuse box on the opposite side where we... no, actually on the same side where we took the emergency cable. And the amp for the whole system is 30 amps. So running just like this is already pulling close to maximum load. So I'll do once more just so you guys can see. So no, there's nothing connected to the motor other than these wires. 24, 27, and you can feel, you can see the motor smoking. Probably can't see. Yeah, it's definitely the motor getting really hot. So that's my problem, is this motor. Now, can I get this motor somewhere? Probably not. So that's why. So when the module tries to run the motor, detects this load, and it detects an overheating, if you wish, because of, oh, look at that, all the smoke. Can you see? Yeah, this motor had its days. This motor had its days. I don't know why I'm keeping doing this, but it's gonna do this again. A little bit less now. Look at that. Right, problem found. Now let me see what we're gonna do. If I can find this motor, or if I'm gonna have to get an entire module. That will depend on the owner as well, see what he wants to do, and we'll go from there. Okay, quick update. The owner agreed that we're gonna get new discs, new pads and new shoes, but that's for the other video. Just thought, well, you probably have seen the video anyway, because these probably will come after. Anyway, but on this particular one, let me just say this. Let me just show you here. So what I've done, guys, I've opened this motor. I've already closed the motor again, but I've opened this motor. As you can see, is all the marks here that I've been opening, and then I just hammer these back in. Okay. Can see there, and basically the inductor where the brushes run was completely caked in gunk. So I've cleaned everything. There's still plenty of brush left on this thing. It really is. And let me just show you here. how the motor runs now. What a difference now. So let me just show you here on this. I'm gonna put it there. I don't know if you can see the screen there. Let me see if you can see the screen. Kind of. Let me put it like this. So that way, let me pull this apart a little bit more. Okay, so surely you can see the screen now. Okay, so watch how many amps this motor is pulling now. .5. Now I'm going to reverse the polarity just for you to see that it runs both ways. It's fixed, guys. We fixed the motor. Right. Decision made by the owner, by the way, is that he wants to try to go the cheapest route, which is obviously repair the module. It's going to be, I'm not going to do it here, but on the other video, if you've seen the video, I showed you a little bit more information about the options of how to repair this problem. Not how to repair the module, but how to repair the problem with the handbrake. So if you haven't seen it, I'll leave the link in the description below. Go there and watch it. I left a little bit more information, and I actually left the information of what I told the owner the options were and all that good stuff. I'm not going to capture that here. But obviously, although we repair this motor, because of where this motor is placed, I decided that I'm not going to risk putting this motor back in. If this was my car, probably I would just install this motor, quite confident that this motor would last now. But obviously we're not going to do that. So I bought another motor. And it's going to be interesting just to see the difference on the amps that motor pulls and this motor pulls. Will be interesting to see the difference. So I'm going to just run this brand new motor. First time I'm going to run it. Let me see how many amps this pulls. 2 amps. Okay. This pulls a little bit more, but obviously it runs absolutely perfect as you have seen. So what we're going to do, we're going to install a new motor, but I'm literally at the moment awaiting, because there's another thing we're going to replace, which is these cogs inside, including that one. The reason I'm going to replace them is obviously they've been through a lot of cycles of tension and pressure as they put, and torque over the years, and they could have micro cracks. They look okay to me, guys. The teeth are absolutely perfect. There's not a single teeth that is chewed or anything like that. They're all in good shape. I can't see nothing wrong. But for the sake of about £12, I think it was 12 15 pounds I paid for a set of new plastic cogs. So these one, that one, and this big one. We're just going to replace this, and that way, at least with everything brand new, we should be a little bit more confident that this is going to last. Again, guys, I would be happy to just leave these ones. If this was my car, I wouldn't even put a new motor. I'm not going to lie. I would just put everything back on, and I'm very, very confident that this would work just perfectly. But obviously, it's not mine, and mainly because of where this module lives, which you might have seen on the other video, is an absolutely pita to get to. We're not going to risk to leave anything that can fail in the short run. So it's going to get a new motor, it's going to get new cogs, and everything else should be fine. Then we're going to put everything back together, and we'll go from there. And then I guess I'm just going to wait for the cogs to be delivered, and then we'll carry on from there. In the meantime, guys, it's going to be a smart move to lubricate these cables. I already have these cables here. They move okay. So they move absolutely perfect, no problems. But I'm going to use a little bit of this no publicity, a little bit of this spray grease, which is really nice. Is a grease that when you use it, it comes like liquid, and then as the solvent evaporates, it starts to thicken and it gets like grease. So it's good to put in place like this, because obviously you can't push grease inside this, but you can put something that is liquid, and that grease is just perfect for that. So we're going to lubricate this cable, the other cable as well on this side for now, and then we're going to put the cogs with new grease and all that good stuff, but I don't have the cogs yet, so we're going to have to bear with me a little bit. But in the meantime, we're going to lubricate this, and this guy is going to be the repair, refurbishment, whichever way you want to call it, of the parking module for this car. So we're going to just carry on, don't go anywhere, see you in a bit. Okay, and I don't have the gears yet, but I found I'm coming to the first issues. So this motor, so let me show you the original motor. This bit here it goes there really tight, so as you can see there's no play. The new one flaps about. Even though the screws will secure it right in the center, I want to make sure I put something there maybe for vibrations, just to hold everything in place a little bit better. Just a quick note here as well, guys, these motors, they are the same for some BMWs, Mercedes, so it's not a motor just for this particular module, for this particular handbrake module. Other manufacturers uses the same. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to try to do, is try to use a O-ring that we can put around here. Just got one that is a bit too much. This one is a little bit too much. So we're going to find an O-ring that we can put somewhere here that will, let me see, maybe that one. That will fill the gap. Perfect, there it is. So I put an O-ring like that, and now when you put it in, the O-ring just fixes everything in place. As you can see, it doesn't allow nothing to move. And now we can put the screws, which they're gonna be here. And that one. Perfect. There we go. I've also seen already another problem. Perfect. Absolutely perfecto. Nice, very nice. So I've seen another issue, guys, which is with the back. So there is this sort of rubber mount that goes here at the back on this motor, and as you can see is a tight fit in there. On this motor, again, it isn't. Okay, so for that I already have here, did I put it? I already cut it. Oh, come on. It might be this one actually. I don't think it was this one. Where's the... Right, what I've done, guys, is I got one of these boots, if you will, for the pistons on the handbrakes, on the calipers, on the sliders, and I have these here that I don't know if it's, I don't think it was this one, that will go around there, and then these will go right on the outside. I don't think it was one. Let me see if I find the right one, because I cut one. I don't know where it is. Okay, and I found it, which is this tiny bit here that I put around here. And now these will go on top. It's a little bit tight, so I'm not going to put it just yet. But another thing that I've decided to do is I decided to take the screws from here again, and I just thought it would be probably smart to use a little bit of Loctite on these screws, just to make sure vibrations, etc., are not going to make these to come loose. to the other one. I'll probably advise for you guys to use a little bit of Loctite on these little screws. Okay guys, just a quick note, this cover, when it goes here, it doesn't have any seal. So what they do at the factory is they fill these with glue, like the black stuff that I use to seal these shoes. That's what I'm going to use. So they use that and then they compress these in there, and that's how they seal it. So at the moment I'm just cleaning the old sealant, so make sure you do that. That's how this is actually sealed up properly. Okay, and following day, unfortunately I didn't got the gears yesterday, but I got them today. At least it feels like the gears. Let me just double check. There they are, my new gears. So let me just open this. I don't know if that makes, probably not, but that's what it is, just in case you guys are interested. I just found this on eBay. So it should come with all the gears. We're just gonna have to dismantle that little sort of clutch, which is this one here. So we're gonna have to take this circlip and the spring and just put it on this one, which goes in here. Sure it goes in here, yeah. There we go, goes in here. That slides in there, and this is like a sort of a clutch. So if too much pressure is put into the thingy, this thing just jumps. Obviously this is not supposed to be jumping all the time. It's just if too much pressure is put into this. Let me just compare the two. So they are pretty much the same. Very, very similar. Be another gear somewhere. So comparing them, yeah, measurement wise they are exactly the same. Yeah, they look pretty much the same. Right, so it's a little bit of plastic here we're gonna have to trim from the molding by the looks of it. I'll show you what I'm doing now. These little bits from the molding, we'll just clean these. But guys, I'm not going to be here bothering you with this, because this video is probably long enough already. So yeah, I guess I'll see you next when this is all done. So we're gonna assemble this gearbox with all these brand new parts and then put it here. Plenty of grease on these gears, obviously. We need plenty of grease. All these gears properly lubricated. I'm gonna use white grease, okay? Usually is what I use for plastic. It works quite well. So yeah, let's go do it and move from there. Okay, so here it is, new gears, new motor. So let's just give it a quick test before we carry it on. Oh yeah, beautiful. It's running absolutely beautiful. So now let's gonna carry on assembling all of this. Just one quick note, make sure you put the motor in the right order, in the right orientation. So as you can see, you have a red wire here, and you have a blue wire, and you have a little mark in there, which is where the red wire goes. So it needs to go like this. So if I would have put the motor the other way, then I would have to swap these cables, but when I put the motor, I made sure I put it in the right orientation, so the red stays on this side. The only problem if you put this the other way around is that when you apply the brake, the motor is going to run in the direction of releasing the brake and the opposite way, so everything's just going to run the other way around, which obviously you don't want. So now we're going to push this in here, push this one here, Now, oh no, hold on, because I still need, forget about something. Well, I didn't forget, but it's better if I put this first. So this now slides in here, like so. Come on, like that. And then as the motor runs back and forwards, it's gonna wind this cable in and out of this end. And as he pulls this cable in, he's gonna obviously pull both cables against each other, and that's what applies the brake. Okay, and this sliding is just so the whole thing can slide back and forwards and the gearbox stays in the same place. So let's just gonna finish assemble this, and then I think we are nearly there. Okay, just a quick note as well, don't know if this is important or not. Obviously this white grease doesn't really go there, but I'm using a little bit of this grease to just put it back here where this bearing is. There's a bearing inside here between this and this, so this is what's going to pull, and obviously this needs to rotate, so there's a bearing in there. So just a little bit of grease. Don't forget to engage this little lever here on the cable, on the release cable, emergency release cable. Don't forget that. There's a way to route this cable in here once this is put in place. Just hold a second. So the cable needs to route, come on, get out of there. It's to route in this groove in there, so the cable ultimately will be like this. Okay, that's where it goes in. But for now, to engage that, obviously I'm going to pull it out. That little thing here where the cable engages is going to go into this groove here, in there. Then there's a little ball at the back that when you pull it, it's going to come all the way back. It's going to release the emergency brake. I'm just going to show you. There it comes. You see that little ball in there? Right there. So that's what pulls that lever and releases the brake. So let's gonna put this back in place. Okay, so this is all in place, all connected. Don't forget this rubber support here to the back of the motor. So everything is in place. Now we're gonna test the release, the emergency release. So we're gonna engage the cable here by pushing. You see the cable moving here. So we're gonna push it against that. There we go. Now it's engaged. Now we're gonna emergency release this, see if it's working fine. There we go. So pull the cable and that releases this thing. That's perfect. Now we can actually pull it this way and insert this cable. The way I'm going to do it is rather simple. We're going to grease this thread here, and then I'm going to put on that side, and by spinning this end here like so, we're going to thread that in here. Okay, so pull all the way there, and we're going to do it and then start to close this down. Just quick note, guys, here, don't know if this is the correct way or not. For this particular screw here, I'm not going to use the silicone grease. I'm just going to use multi-purpose grease, because I don't think, just going to go like so, pull it out. It should be enough. It should be enough. Yeah, I don't want to use the white grease for this, because I don't think is the correct one for this type of application. Okay, I already pushed them in. Now let's kind of pull them out just a tiny bit. There we go. Let's release this completely, and then the car will do the rest. Want to put them in the completely released position. Maybe just a tiny bit more, and it should be fully released. Actually, I need to grease that in there. I haven't greased, have I? Put a little bit of grease here on this sliding plate here. so. Let's gonna release this. I think it should be released. I think it should be released. Maybe just a tiny bit more. That's it. Right, so guys, this is done. Now we're gonna seal this, put a little bit of sealant, and put the cover back on. Okay, so here it is, a bit of sealant all the way around, and now we're gonna put this back in. I'm quite confident that everything should work okay. I checked and double checked. Make sure you plug in the sensor back in, this blue plug. Obviously I was trying the motor, I've disconnected the cable so I wouldn't send voltage back into the board. Obviously connect the two things back on into the motor. So everything looks okay to me. I don't see nothing wrong. Maybe just a tiny bit more grease around there, perhaps. But yeah, everything looks pretty much okay. So with no further ado, let's gonna turn this around and make sure I get this rubber in place in there. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Now it's gonna put the screws back in. Some of these screws, they are really bad, but unfortunately I don't have new screws for this. At least maybe I do, maybe I don't. I'm gonna see if I have some to replace. Otherwise we'll just take the old screws back in, and that's all. Okay, and that's it. That's a Range Rover Vogue parking brake refurbished. You can see this little bit here with this tape. So basically, I don't know if it was me. It doesn't sound like it was me that broke this one. I was trying to pull it without disconnect this cable. But everything was corroded around here. So what I've done is I put everything in place. I put a little bit of hose, fuel hose on the outside with the Jubilee clip to hold everything back in place. And then I just taped everything around. Where this lives, that's going to last for a long time. So this is a module refurbished, guys. So in the end, the only issue really with this module was actually the motor that we actually repaired. Right. As a preventive maintenance, we changed the gears. Honestly, I was not really concerned about the gear system. There's nothing wrong, but it could be that you know, they've been through a few cycles. You know, if this was easy to get to, probably I wouldn't worry about that. And if this was mine, definitely I wouldn't worry about that, and I would definitely put the same motor back in. But guys, this is not mine, so I don't want this to come back. So this is what it is, guys. The modules, this module is the same for different versions of the Range Rover, but there is what changed on some of them is the fixing points. So these rubber mounts here at the back, these two rubber mounts here, these two, when you put in, you basically, the module goes like this in this position on the car, and you basically put it like this, and then you slide these two rubber mounts onto sort of slots, and then you put the screws at the front. But guys, I'm quite confident this is going to work. Unfortunately, I can't try this without putting this all in place, because otherwise the module is just going to pull the cables into here, and I don't want that to happen. So we're going to very quickly put the module in place. I'm not going to put the screws just yet. I'm not going to lift or put the subframe back in place. All we're going to do is try it on the car. But guys, that will come on the video, or you might have seen that on the video already, for the wall fault system, for the wall fault with the parking brake. As I said, I dedicated this purely just for the refurbishment of the module, and this is how you do it, guys. So in the end, the motor was £40 or 30 something pounds. I might put it here how much I paid for it, and the gears I think was about £15 as well. So in comparison with how much this would cost through any other option, I think this is a quite cheap repair if you wish, but more details you've seen already on the other video. So guys, with no further ado, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I know I'm going to repeat myself, but right at the start, I was not planning to make this a module only repair or fault finding and repair video, so it was a little bit not exactly how I would have make it if that was the idea from the beginning. It was just halfway through thought that I thought I'll do it that way because it will be easier for someone to find now a video just for this particular repair. So not rocket science, I would say. Really, it was easy to find where the problem was. And that's it, guys. Without further ado, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Who knows? If you do still have any questions, any comments, you know exactly how it works. Just put them below. And like always, thanks for watching.